Hey, good morning, guys. Today we're going to be covering special cases, which is luckily pretty much all the same processes that we've been doing. It just means that we're going to end up with more than the one solution option that we've been doing. We will have other scenarios that are possible. So let's talk about those. Okay, because we have three different types of solutions. You have one solution, no solution, and infinite solutions. Okay, so far have been one solution that we've solved. However, there are two special cases, the no solution and the infinite solution that we've just been through. So we're going to solve each one of these and see what happens. All right, so the first thing here is we distribute. So I end up with 6x. 3 times 2x gives me 6x plus 3 times 9, which is 27. And we bring down the rest equals -5. Now I can treat this as plus a negative, so this is going to be plus -2x. If you don't need to do that, then you don't have to. Okay, some people need that to understand that that's a negative number. And now my goal is to get all of the variables on the same side. So I'm going to take this -2x and I'm going to move it to the other side and I need to do that because this is my equation wall by doing the opposite. So it's a -2x, so I'm going to put a positive 2x. I'm going to add 2x to both sides. This equals 0 because remember the goal is to make that equal 0. And then I bring everything else down. And I now have 8x plus 27 equals -5. And now I've got my two-step equation that I continue to solve. It's adding 27, so I'm going to subtract 27 from both sides. And this equals 0. And I have 8x equals 5 plus 2 is 12, carried my 1. So this is going to be a -32. Divide by 8. And x equals -4. And we ended up with the one solution. Now we're going to get into our special cases. Same thing, we just simplify each half. We're going to simplify each half first. So I'm looking over here and I've got to combine my like terms. Remember, this is a negative. So this is going to become 7x minus 3x, or 7x plus -3x if we change these all to plus a negative. So this is going to be 7 plus -3x. So that's going to give me 4x minus 9, or 4x plus -9. And we distribute. And I end up with 4x plus 12 plus 1. And now I combine my like terms. So I have 4x minus 9 equals 4x plus 11. And now I'm continuing. I've got to get all of the variables on the same side, just like we did in this step here. So I need to get the 4x over here. Now, when I do that, that's a positive 4x. So I'm going to need a -4x for this to equal 0. Now, when I do this, I'm going to see that both of the variable scenarios equal 0. That means I end up with -9 equals 11. This is a false statement. -9 does not equal 11. This is a false. This is a false statement. I'm going to say the word statement here. False statement. So the answer is no solution. The answer is no solution. And the symbol that we write is a circle with a line drawn through it. So when we have one solution, that's the only solution. That means when I plug it back in, it makes it true. When it's no solution, there is no number that I can plug in. There's not a number that I could plug in to this original equation and it make a true statement, because it is a false statement here. So that means there is no solution. Next option is infinite solution. So we solve. We got to simplify and solve. So here's my equation wall. So I'm going to distribute the -2 and I end up with -6x. This is plus a negative because I'm doing -2 times -5. So that gives me a +10. And then over here, I can combine my like terms. Remember that this is plus a negative, so that's a negative 8x. So I have 2x plus negative 8x. That's going to give me a negative 6x plus 10. And now I got to move my variables onto the same side. So I need to move this negative 6x over here. And when I do that, that's a negative 6x. So I'm going to add 6x or a positive 6x to both sides. And they both equal 0. So now when I bring this down, I end up with 10 equals 10. This is a true statement. Since this is a true statement, then that means it is all solutions, or what I might write as infinitely many solutions. This is what is called more commonly seen. And the symbol that you would see is the infinity symbol. The infinity symbol for infinite solutions. It means that I can plug in any number and it would make a true statement. All solutions will make the equation true. All right, we're going to work a couple of more examples that have a little bit more detail in them. So we're going to flip the page and move on to the back. And we're going to look at number 6. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm showing you how it would look with several different options. Okay, so now when I chose this one, yes, because of the fraction, but also because of this minus right here. Remember, anytime we have a minus, we change that to plus a negative. Now, that's understood to be a -1 that's on the outside of here. So that means I'm going to take that -1 and distribute it to everything inside. So I'm going to have 3 plus -1 times 4w, that's -4w, plus -1 times 5, which gives me a -5, equals, and now I'm going to take the 1/2 and distribute it to everything inside of here, which when I multiply times 1/2, that's the same as dividing by 2. So I'm going to have 8w divided by 2, which gives me 4w. Half of 28 is going to be 14. And now I simplify. My next step, so I distributed. Now I simplify each half. So I have to combine my like terms. And when I do that, I end up with -4w. This is 3 plus -5, so that's going to be plus -2. And that equals, and I bring down the rest, so I have 4w plus 14. Now, one thing that may be causing you to think about stuff here is, well, wait a minute, I've got 4 W's on both sides. Should that mean something? Let's just keep working and let's just see. We got to just keep plugging away. Don't ever assume anything. Just keep working. Remember, my goal is to get all the variables on the same side. I always like to put them on the left. So I'm going to take this 4w and I need to move it over here. And remember, we have to do the opposite to hop over the equation wall. That's a positive 4w. So I'm going to add a negative 4w. I'm adding a negative 4w to both sides. When I do this, this equals 0. But over here, negative 4w plus negative 4w, that's teamwork, and they stay on the negative team. So this is going to remain negative 8w. And I bring down the rest. Plus negative 2 equals 14. And now I continue to solve. That's a -2. I need to get it to 0. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides because now this equals 0. Bring down the rest. So I have -8w equals 16. And now I divide by -8 to both sides, and I get w equals -2 as my final answer. And since it's one solution, I can plug it in and check. When it's no solution or IMS, you can't check. All right, here we go. So moving right along, number 10. I chose this one because I wanted to make sure that we understood this is 12 minus 4. I have to do plus a negative because I've got to distribute the negative to everything inside here. So I'm now going to have 12 plus negative 4 times 2x. That's going to give me a negative 8x. Then I have negative 4 times w. So that's going to give me plus negative 36 equals distributing the negative 8. So that's going to give me negative 8x, negative 8x. Negative 8 times 3, so that's going to give me plus negative 24. And now I solve my equation, but I've got to simplify each half first. So I have to simplify over here first, which means I have to combine my like terms. So this is going to be negative 8x. This is a 12 and a negative 36. So therefore, I'm going to have plus negative 24 equals negative 8x plus negative 24. Now at this point, some of you may recognize, well, wait a minute, that's the exact same thing. Isn't that a true statement? And that's okay. You can see that. You can see at this point it's a true statement. If your brain does not see it, that's okay. We keep going. Okay, I need to get my variable on both sides. So I need to move this variable over here. That's a negative 8x, so I'm going to add 8x to both sides. Each one of these equals 0. So now I bring down the rest and I end up with negative 24 equals negative 24. Now you should be able to see, well, yeah, they are the same. This is true, so therefore the answer is infinity. Or if you want to write it in words, it's infinitely many solutions. Okay, last example. Which one we're doing? 12. Okay, again, I chose this one because of this minus right here, because this is an extremely common mistake. Because that minus is right there. Remember, that's understood. We rewrite that as plus a negative. Since there's no number written there, that's a negative 1 that's understood to be there. This becomes plus a negative 16. So now I've got to distribute the negative 1 to everything inside. So my first step is to simplify each half. So I'm going to end up with 7v plus negative 2v plus negative 1 times negative 16 gives me a positive 16 equals, now I distribute this 5, so I have 5v plus 20. And now I combine my like terms. So 7b plus negative 2v, that's going to give me 5v plus 16 equals 5v plus 20. And some of you may realize that at this point, these are not the same. If you don't, that's okay. We finished working. I need to get all the variables on the same side. So that means that's a positive 5v. So I'm going to subtract 5v from each side. And this equals 0, this equals 0. Oh, bring down the rest. 16 equals 20. That ain't true. 16 does not equal 20. So this is a false statement. So my answer is the circle with the line drawn through it, or the words no solution. Your assignment is to finish the notes and finish the classwork homework. Have a great day.